This is your Godzilla mini Photoshop project. You're going to be taking yourself and make yourself really large and cut yourself out and put yourself within this image. And you're going to add a lot of effects to it to really push how interesting it is. So to start with, we need to prep our background. And the easiest way to do that with a new version of Photoshop is just to go to the Select menu, select Sky. We'll let Photoshop do a little bit of thinking here. Did a pretty good job selecting that out. Now we want to make a layer of just the school. So we're going to go up to the Select menu again, and we're going to select the inverse. From there, we're going to make a copy of that selection. The best way to do that is just to click on any selection tool. Just right on the quick select tool here. And I can right click and do layer via copy. So on this layer we have just the school, and then the layer below we have some of the sky. Now you can certainly get creative and change the sky out behind too if you'd like, just to make things really interesting. So our next goal is going to be to bring in a picture of yourself, and we're going to cut ourselves out. Now we can always resize ourselves later. And I think the easiest thing to do to start with is to try to do the select subject version of selection within Photoshop. As you can see, it looked for what it thought was the subject, which did actually a pretty good job. And looking around the selection, it actually cut right along the edges of me. Now there might be some areas that you need to touch up. See how the shoe and that little area right there is a little bit off. So what we're going to need to do is minus away some of the selection and then add to the selection. So the easiest way in your keyboard to add is to hold Shift. So I'm holding Shift, and I'm actually on the quick select tool. You'll see that selected over here. If you don't see that, it's right underneath the object selection tool. And I'm holding Shift, and I'm just going right along the edges, have it snap in and grab what I need it to. If there's something that I don't want, you can hold Alt on your keyboard. That changes the brush to a minus, and you can minus things away that you don't want. So now I no longer have a little bit of that edge in there from the curve. Okay, looking around the selection, there's still maybe just a few spots that need to be touched up. You can Control plus to zoom in, hold Alt on your keyboard to minus. It's going to do its best to try to snap to edges. Sometimes you have to go back and forth between adding to your selection and taking it away. As long as we're getting close, that's enough. I'll pick this up again once I'm done going and touching up my selection. Alright, after you've got your selection made, we're going to click the Create Layer Mask button over in your Layers palette. It's a rectangle with a circle in the middle. That's going to cut us out real nicely. From there, we'll go to the Move tool, and we can move ourselves around. Now we're in front of the building right now, so we actually need to move our layer to be between the layers. That will allow us to get ourselves into a good spot behind the building. So it looks like we're climbing over it. Control T on your keyboard allows you to resize yourself. You can also spin yourself around. That's a great thing to remember. And right there, so we've accomplished cutting ourselves out and putting ourselves within this picture of the building. And we also have a layer of the building right on top of ourselves, so that we can really make it look like we're climbing over. The next video is going to talk about adding in additional objects.